Money. It is the most talked about subject in the world, yet the least understood. From the moment we are born, money begins to define the boundaries of our lives. It determines where we live, what we eat, how we're educated, who we meet, and sometimes even how we are treated. Yet, for all its influence, no one truly teaches us how money works. We are told to study hard, get a good job, and save, as if those steps automatically guarantee financial success. But if that formula truly worked, then the hardest workers on earth would be the wealthiest. They are not. Why? Because money isn't just earned, it's played. Money is a game, a complex, psychological, strategic, and spiritual game. It has invisible rules, unwritten codes, and hidden players who understand how to move through its system with precision and power. The tragedy is, most people are playing without even knowing a game exists. We live in a world where financial ignorance is normalized. People work tirelessly to earn what they never learned to manage. They hustle for cash without understanding flow. They save in fear rather than invest in vision. And they spend to impress those who couldn't care less about their struggle. That's not financial wisdom, that's financial hypnosis. This audiobook is your awakening. Money Talk, the game of money nobody talks about, is not another financial self-help lecture filled with cliches about saving or budgeting. This is about learning the game, understanding the rules, reading the players, and positioning yourself to win. The poor think in terms of money spent. The rich think in terms of money multiplied. The poor see money as an end. The wealthy see it as a tool, a servant to purpose. This audiobook will reveal the mindset, strategies, and spiritual principles behind wealth creation, the unspoken truths that shape financial destinies. It will help you identify the traps that keep you broke, the illusions that keep you striving, and the silent disciplines that quietly make others rich. You will learn the laws of leverage, the psychology of value, and the hidden energy of circulation that governs every financial ecosystem. Because the truth is simple. Money doesn't follow effort, it follows intelligence. It follows clarity. It follows vision. And until you understand the game behind the game, you will forever remain a player moved by those who know how to play. Forget everything you think you know about money. Let's talk about what nobody talks about, the real game of money. Welcome to Money Talk, the game of money nobody talks about. Written and published by the Zillion Pro. Chapter 1: The Hidden Rules of the Money Game. The first rule of the money game is this. Most people don't even know a game exists. They think money is about working hard, saving harder, and waiting for a lucky break. They believe wealth is random, a privilege of the chosen few or the product of chance. But in truth, money obeys laws. Just like gravity, those laws don't care whether you believe in them or not. They work silently, invisibly, consistently. Every financial outcome in your life is a reflection of how well you understand and apply these laws. If you break them in ignorance, they break you in reality. Rule number 1: money rewards value, not effort. You can spend your whole life working hard and still stay broke. Because money doesn't respond to sweat, it responds to value. Value is the invisible currency of the universe. It's the reason one person earns $100 an hour while another earns $10,000. The difference is not effort, it's impact. The more problems you solve, the more value you create, and the more money flows toward you. People don't pay you for what you do, they pay you for what it does for them. Ask yourself, what problem am I solving, and how valuable is that problem to others? That question alone can change your financial destiny. Rule number 2: money follows attention. Money flows where attention goes. Every powerful brand, every wealthy individual, and every successful company knows this secret. In the attention economy, Visibility is currency. The more people know you, trust you, and talk about you, the more money you attract. That's why billionaires invest heavily in media, marketing, and personal image. They understand that attention converts to influence, and influence converts to income. You don't have to be famous to win this game. You only need to be visible to the right audience, those who value what you offer. Rule number 3, money loves systems, not chaos. Money doesn't stay where there's confusion. It requires structure, clarity, and control. Wealthy people don't just earn money, they design systems to make money work for them. The poor chase income. The rich build machines that create income on autopilot. A system could be a business model, an investment plan, a digital asset, or even a disciplined savings habit that compounds intelligently. Without a system, your money disappears the moment it arrives. The rule is simple. If your money doesn't have a job, it will find its own, and usually it will work against you. Rule number 4, money flows to emotional stability. Money is energy. It gravitates toward those who can manage emotions, not those who react to them. Fear, greed, and impatience are the 3 emotional viruses that infect most financial decisions. They make people chase trends, panic sell investments, or overspend to feel secure. The wealthy, however, play the long game. They are patient when others are anxious, strategic when others are impulsive. They know that emotion clouds judgment and judgment controls fortune. To master money, you must first master yourself. Rule number 5, money obeys perception. The game of money is largely psychological. People don't just buy things, they buy stories. They buy how something makes them feel, what it represents, and the identity it reinforces. That's why branding is everything. In business and in life, the way you present yourself determines how much people are willing to pay for your time, product, or idea. If you appear valuable, you will be treated as valuable. If you appear desperate, you will be priced accordingly. Money flows to confidence, certainty, and perceived worth. In other words, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you project. Rule number 6, money rewards those who play long-term games. Wealth is not built overnight, it compounds quietly through consistency. Every decision you make either multiplies your future or mortgages it. Those who think short-term spend for pleasure. Those who think long-term invest for freedom. It's the reason millionaires focus on ownership, not consumption. They acquire assets that grow over time instead of liabilities that shrink their options. Every game has players. The poor play to survive today. The rich play to control tomorrow. Rule number 7, money has no morality, only direction. Money is not good or evil, it simply magnifies who you already are. In the hands of the wise, it heals. In the hands of the wicked, it destroys. That's why you must decide early what money means to you, tool or trap, master or servant. When you assign your money a mission, it becomes a multiplier of good. But when you chase money without meaning, you become its slave. The hidden conclusion. The game of money is not played in banks, markets, or boardrooms. It's played in the mind through beliefs, habits, and awareness. Most people are financially defeated long before they ever earn their first paycheck. They are trapped in invisible rules they never learn to read. But the moment you start seeing money as a game of strategy, not survival, everything changes. You stop chasing. You start designing. You stop wishing. You start building. Because when you know the rules, the game no longer controls you, you control the game. Chapter 2, The Illusion of Hard Work. We were raised to believe a simple formula. Work hard and you will succeed. It sounded noble, it sounded moral, it sounded right. But in the real world, it's not entirely true. If hard work alone guaranteed wealth, The farmers, factory workers, miners, and laborers of the world would be millionaires. They work the longest hours, endure the hardest conditions, and yet often struggle to survive. Meanwhile, some people make more money in a single day than others make in a lifetime. Not because they work harder, but because they work differently. This is the illusion of hard work, the belief that effort alone equals success. In truth, money doesn't reward effort, it rewards effectiveness. The trap of the hustle culture. We live in a generation that glorifies busyness. People brag about 16-hour days, all-nighters, and burnout as if exhaustion is a badge of honor. But working endlessly without direction is not ambition, it's avoidance. It's the avoidance of deep thinking, strategy, and creativity, the real engines of wealth. The rich don't worship activity, they worship results. They know that being busy doesn't always mean being productive. The poor say, "I'm working hard." The rich say, "I'm working smart." Because the truth is simple. Hard work builds survival. Smart work builds freedom. The law of leverage. Every wealthy person understands leverage, the art of multiplying effort through systems, people, and technology. 1 hour of a billionaire's time can move mountains because it's not just their labor at play. It's their network, their capital, their ideas, and their influence. Leverage is how a single decision can make more impact than a decade of sweat. You can't outwork the system, but you can outthink it. You can't add more hours to your day, but you can multiply what those hours produce. That's why the real question is not, how hard am I working? What am I working on that multiplies itself? The value of thinking time. The difference between the average earner and the wealthy is not how much they do, it's how much they think. Thinking is the highest form of work. It's invisible labor. Before every empire was built, before every fortune was made, there was a mind that dared to pause, question, and imagine differently. Most people are too busy earning a living to design one. They're stuck running on the treadmill of activity, moving fast, but going nowhere. The wealthy spend more time planning their next move than executing random ones. Because clarity is power, and thinking creates clarity. The myth of the paycheck. Another illusion of hard work is the idea that a paycheck equals progress. It doesn't. A paycheck is often the reward for doing what someone else has already figured out. It is the illusion of security, trading your potential for predictability. There's nothing wrong with employment, but there's everything wrong with depending on it forever. The wealthy know that money made from wages is temporary. Wealth built from ownership is lasting. The goal is not just to earn money, but to own systems that earn money for you. The smart worker's secret: leverage time, not lose it. Time is the currency of life, and most people trade it too cheaply. A hard worker sells hours. A smart worker sells outcomes. The first runs out of time, the second creates more of it. That's why the wealthy obsess over automation, delegation, and investment. They let technology, people, and capital do the heavy lifting while they focus on strategy and innovation. When you stop trading time for money and start trading ideas for value, you cross from the world of labor to the world of leverage. The emotional addiction to effort. There's also a psychological reason why people cling to hard work. It feels righteous. We've been taught that struggle equals virtue, that pain means progress. But the universe doesn't pay you for pain, it pays you for purpose. Working hard without direction gives a false sense of accomplishment. It makes you feel productive without actually being progressive. It's a comfortable illusion until reality knocks. Wisdom begins when you realize that ease isn't laziness, and effort isn't always effectiveness. True mastery lies in alignment, when what you do flows naturally from who you are and the value you create. Reprogramming the hard work mindset. To escape the illusion, you must reprogram your beliefs. Don't just work harder, work higher. Don't just do more, do what matters most. Don't seek to be busy, seek to be impactful. Don't chase money, attract it through mastery. When you stop measuring success by sweat and start measuring it by strategy, you evolve from a worker to a creator. Because wealth doesn't come to those who grind the hardest, it comes to those who play the smartest. The truth behind the illusion. Hard work is necessary, but it's not enough. It's the foundation, not the skyscraper. Effort opens the door. Wisdom builds the house. So work hard, yes, but only after you've thought clearly, planned wisely, and designed systems that multiply your labor. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how long you worked. It's about how far your work traveled after you stopped working. That's the secret the wealthy already know. Hard work builds a living. Smart work builds a legacy. Chapter 3. The Power Game. Money obeys influence. Money doesn't follow need. It doesn't even follow intelligence. Money follows power. Power is not just political or physical, it's psychological. It's the invisible force that makes people listen, trust, and obey. It's the magnet that draws opportunity, the gravity that pulls wealth into orbit. You can have talent, ideas, or skill, but without influence, you'll always work for someone who does. The unseen economy of power. The world is not run by money. It's run by those who control where money flows. Influence is the highest currency in the world. It's why some people can raise millions with a single phone call, while others can't get a small loan approved. Influence bends reality. It opens doors that effort alone can't. It creates leverage in conversations, negotiations, and even perceptions. When people perceive you as powerful, they willingly give you what others fight for. So the question is not, how do I make more money? The real question is, how do I become more influential? The law of perceived power. Power is rarely about what's true, it's about what people believe is true. Perception creates reality. That's why confidence, branding, and authority are forms of silent power. People follow certainty, they buy confidence, they submit to clarity. When you walk into a room and radiate assurance, not arrogance but inner stability, people instinctively trust you. They assume you know what you're doing, and that assumption becomes influence. Influence, in turn, becomes income. This is the secret behind personal branding, celebrity wealth, and corporate dominance. They don't just sell products, they sell perception. Influence is built on trust. True influence is not manipulation, it's trust multiplied by time. Trust is the invisible bridge between your intention and someone else's decision. It cannot be faked for long. Every time you deliver on your word, you deposit credibility into the bank of trust. Over time, those deposits compound into massive influence. That's why character is not optional in the power game. It's your most valuable currency. A single act of integrity can open 1,000 unseen doors. A single act of deceit can close them all. Money obeys influence, but influence obeys trust. The power of association. Power is contagious. The people you spend time with determine the level of influence you command. When you move with powerful people, you borrow their credibility. When you surround yourself with mediocrity, you inherit their limitations. Every relationship either expands or restricts your influence field. That's why the wealthy are intentional about their circles. They don't mingle everywhere, they multiply strategically. In the game of money, who you know can be more valuable than what you know. Because proximity to power is a shortcut to wealth. The psychology of authority. Authority is not given, it's projected. It begins with self-belief and manifests through communication, consistency, and competence. People naturally submit to those who appear to know the way. That's why leaders earn more, not because they work more, but because they carry the energy of direction. To gain authority, you must 1. Know what you stand for. 2. Communicate it with clarity. 3. Deliver results that back your words. When you speak from conviction, act from competence, and move with consistency, you become magnetic. You stop chasing validation and start commanding attention. That is the essence of financial power. The network principle. Money moves through relationships, not transactions. Every breakthrough in business, career, or life happens through someone's recommendation, partnership, or access. Networks are bridges of influence. Each connection can multiply your reach beyond your effort. The poor think of networking as begging. The wealthy see it as collaboration. They understand that money is a team sport, and influence is the scoreboard. Influence and the flow of opportunities. Opportunities are loyal to influence. The more influence you have, the more opportunities find you without your chase. Think about it. When an investor seeks a startup, they go for founders with credibility. When a company seeks a partner, they choose brands with authority. When a client seeks an expert, they pick someone who already influences the space. You don't have to ask for money when influence speaks for you. Influence is the silent salesman that works while you sleep. How to build unshakable influence. 1. Master communication. Speak clearly, confidently, and with purpose. Influence begins with the way you express ideas. 2. Add value first. Influence grows when people feel elevated around you. Serve before selling. 3. Stay consistent. Influence dies in inconsistency. Be known for something and stay true to it. 4. Guard your reputation. Reputation is your shadow. It moves faster than you do. Protect it. 5. Develop presence. Show up like you matter. Dress, act, and carry yourself with quiet authority. Influence is not built overnight, but once established, it pays you forever. The baseline truth: power commands money. Power is the unseen magnet behind every financial success story. Money doesn't chase, it's attracted to gravity. If you want to rise financially, you must rise in influence. If you want people to invest in you, they must first believe in you. If you want the world to listen, speak with authority born from self-mastery. The poor work for money. The rich make money work for their power. Because in the end, the game of money is not about who deserves it, it's about who commands it. Money obeys influence. Influence obeys character. And character is forged through clarity, consistency, and contribution. That is the real power game. Chapter 4: The Psychology of Value. Money doesn't chase skill. It doesn't chase intelligence. Money chases value, or at least the perception of it. In the marketplace of life, people don't pay you for what you do, they pay you for what you do means to them. Two people can sell the same product, offer the same service, or even speak the same words, and one becomes rich while the other remains invisible. Why? Because one has mastered the psychology of value. Value is a feeling, not a fact. Value is not an absolute truth, it's an emotional judgment. It's how something makes a person feel about themselves, their needs, and their desires. People buy emotions, not objects. They pay for confidence, convenience, comfort, or connection, not just the tangible thing you offer. That's why a bottle of water can cost $1 in a store, $3 at the airport, and $10 in a desert. The water didn't change, the context did. And in that context, the perceived value increased. The lesson: people don't pay for your product, they pay for the meaning attached to it. The invisible formula of wealth: perception times emotion equals value. Every financial transaction is an emotional equation. Before anyone gives you money, they ask, consciously or unconsciously, how does this make me feel? Does it solve my problem? Does it make me look, feel, or live better? The greater the emotional response your work triggers, the higher its perceived value. That's why artists, leaders, and brands that master storytelling dominate the market. They don't sell products, they sell feelings. The confidence multiplier. Confidence is one of the strongest currencies in the world. People subconsciously equate confidence with competence. When you speak with certainty, act with clarity, and deliver with consistency, people automatically value your work more. The irony is, most people wait to feel confident after they succeed, but success itself follows confidence. You must project value before the world can confirm it. When you present yourself as valuable, the world adjusts its price tag accordingly. Scarcity and the law of perceived worth. Human psychology equates rarity with value. What is common becomes cheap, what is scarce becomes sacred. Luxury brands understand this perfectly. They limit access, increase anticipation, and watch desire multiply. The same law applies to your personal and professional life. If you make yourself too available, you lower your perceived worth. If you offer everything to everyone, you dilute your uniqueness. Be selective. Be deliberate. Be valuable enough to be missed. Because in the game of value, abundance of access often kills appreciation. The value of storytelling. Behind every high-value brand or individual is a powerful story. Stories create identity, and identity creates loyalty. Your story transforms your offering from a product into a purpose, from a service into a statement. Apple doesn't just sell technology, it sells creativity. Nike doesn't just sell shoes, it sells victory. You must do the same. When people emotionally connect to your story, they stop comparing prices, they start comparing meaning. And meaning always wins over money. The value of results. There is one thing that increases your perceived value faster than branding or storytelling: results. Results make your value undeniable. When people can see transformation, financial, emotional, or social, they stop questioning your worth. The wealthy understand this rule. They focus less on talking and more on producing results that speak for them. The more results you produce, the less you have to explain your price. The emotional mirror, how people value you. People value you based on how you value yourself. If you treat your time, talent, and energy as sacred, others will too. If you discount yourself constantly, the world will follow suit. Every price you set for your work, your presence, your service, tells the world how to treat you. Never apologize for your worth. You are not expensive, you are exclusive. And exclusivity is the foundation of perceived value. The invisible currency of energy. Money is an energy exchange. It flows toward those who radiate purpose, enthusiasm, and certainty. When you operate from joy, service, and gratitude, your energy communicates abundance, and abundance attracts more of itself. But when you operate from fear, desperation, or scarcity, your energy repels money even before you open your mouth. That's why mindset is the ultimate multiplier. Your energy either amplifies your value or erases it. How to elevate your value instantly. 1. Master your craft. Skill is still the foundation of confidence. The better you are, the more valuable you become. 2. Own your story, frame your life, challenges, and purpose into a narrative that elevates your brand. 3. Protect your energy. Don't serve from emptiness. Refill yourself so your presence feels abundant, not needy. 4. Refine your presentation. People judge with their eyes before they listen with their ears. Excellence begins in appearance. 5. Deliver results. Nothing builds lasting value like proven outcomes. The baseline truth: value creates wealth. You are not paid for your time. You are paid for the value your time produces. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards transformation. And transformation begins when you understand how people feel value before they see it. Money, at its core, is an emotional mirror. It reflects how much value you create in the lives of others, and how much value you believe you carry within yourself. So stop chasing money. Start amplifying value. Because once you master the psychology of value, money stops being your pursuit and starts becoming your shadow. Chapter 5. The Financial Matrix: Escaping the Money Trap. Most people believe they are free because they can make choices. But in the game of money, freedom is often an illusion. We wake up every day, go to work, chase paychecks, pay bills, and repeat the cycle thinking that we're living life. But the truth is, we're playing a game we don't control, a game carefully designed to keep us inside the financial matrix. The financial matrix isn't a movie fantasy. It's a mental and systemic reality. It's a structure built on invisible beliefs, social conditioning, and economic mechanisms that keep the majority enslaved to a system of endless earning and spending. It rewards compliance and punishes consciousness. The trap of the system. From childhood, we're programmed to think like consumers, not creators. We are trained to chase money instead of mastering it. We are told to study hard, work hard, and save money in institutions that profit from our ignorance. Think about it. The education system teaches you how to work for money. The banking system teaches you how to borrow money. The advertising system teaches you how to spend money. The tax system teaches you how to lose money. And the investment elite quietly learn how to multiply money. This is the matrix. It is the invisible web that keeps people busy, broke, and distracted. 2. Exhausted to question the system that consumes their time and energy. The matrix runs on fear. Fear of being broke. Fear of taking risks. Fear of losing what you have. And fear keeps people trapped, working harder for less value, thinking it's the only way to survive. The currency of control. In the matrix, money isn't the ultimate power, control is. Those who understand the system control those who don't. While most people focus on earning, the powerful focus on owning. The system is structured so that the more you work, the more dependent you become on salaries, on loans, on credit cards, on systems that profit from your effort. They sell you dreams of stability while silently taking your freedom. The truth is, the financial matrix doesn't want you poor. It just wants you busy. Busy enough not to think. Busy enough to never create. Busy enough to keep the system alive. The way out: awareness and leverage. Escaping the financial matrix begins with one thing: awareness. You must first see the trap before you can leave it. Understand that true financial freedom doesn't come from working harder, but from thinking differently. It comes from creating systems, not serving them. It comes from leveraging value, not trading time. There are 3 exits from the matrix. 1. Financial intelligence. Learn how money really moves. Understand how value, assets, and cash flow interact. Study money as a system, not just a salary. 2. Ownership. Own something that produces value when you're not present. A business, an asset, intellectual property, or a brand. Ownership is your ticket to freedom. 3. Network and knowledge. Connect with people who play the game differently. The matrix weakens in the presence of enlightened minds. The right relationships open secret doors. Freedom is a mindset before it's a bank balance. You don't escape the matrix by suddenly becoming rich. You escape it the moment you realize you don't need to trade your life for money. Financial freedom is not the ability to buy anything. It's the ability to walk away from anything. It's not just about having wealth, it's about having options. The world will always have systems, but the wise don't get trapped, they build their own. They become the designers of their economic destiny, the creators of new realities. Remember, the matrix thrives on conformity. Freedom thrives on creativity. You must choose one. Because the moment you wake up to the truth about money, the system can no longer control you. You become what the system fears most, a financially awakened human being. Chapter 6. Money and Energy, the Law of Circulation. Money is not paper. Money is energy, a living current that responds to flow, purpose, and consciousness. Every coin, every note, every digital number in your account represents a vibration, a symbol of exchanged energy. When you work, serve, create, or add value, you're sending out energy. When you receive money, that energy returns, multiplied or diminished, depending on how well you understand the law of circulation. Most people never grasp this truth. They chase money as if it were a fixed thing, something to hold, hoard, or hide. But money is not meant to be stored like stagnant water. It is meant to move. Because like all energy, money dies when it stops flowing. The law of circulation. The law of circulation says that everything in the universe, love, power, health, and wealth, flows in a circular motion. What you send out returns to you. The tighter you hold, the less you have. The more you release with wisdom, the more you attract with grace. You see, the poor hoard because they fear lack. The wealthy circulate because they trust abundance. The energy of money responds to trust. When you operate in fear, your energy contracts and so does your financial flow. But when you operate in faith and purpose, your energy expands and so does your wealth. The circulation of money is not about reckless spending. It's about intelligent giving and purposeful investing. When money moves with intention, it multiplies. When it moves with confusion, it disappears. The energy of exchange. Money always moves toward value and away from stagnation. Think of it like a river. Wherever there is movement, life thrives. Wherever there is blockage, decay begins. This is why people who consistently give through service, ideas, generosity, or innovation always attract more. They keep the current of money alive. Every time you pay for something that adds value, invest in something that multiplies life, or help someone rise, you're sending energy into the great circuit of wealth, and that current always finds its way back to you. The flow of money is never lost. It simply changes direction according to energy. The fear that blocks flow. Fear is the great dam in the river of money. When fear enters, flow stops. Fear of losing. Fear of lacking. Fear of giving. That fear makes people clutch what they have, yet, in that very act, they cut themselves off from receiving more. The universe cannot give to a closed hand. To restore circulation, you must shift your emotional vibration around money from scarcity to abundance. From I don't have enough to, there is always more. From I must keep to I will create. Abundance begins in the mind, not the wallet. The circle of purpose. Money is loyal to purpose. When money flows toward a meaningful vision, one that serves life, solves problems, or uplifts others, it accelerates. Purpose magnetizes money because energy seeks expansion. This is why those who use money with intent to build, help, or innovate often attract more opportunities than those who simply desire to get rich. Money is spiritual, it senses motive. To master the law of circulation, ask yourself, is my money serving my purpose or my fear? Because the direction of your money reveals the direction of your soul. Becoming a channel of flow. The greatest secret of wealthy consciousness is this. They do not own money, they channel it. They understand that wealth is not about accumulation, it's about circulation with intelligence. They let money flow through them, to people, projects and purposes that generate more energy and value for others. And by doing so, they never run dry. The more you circulate money with gratitude and wisdom, the more the universe trusts you with greater flow. This is how you become a conduit of abundance, a channel through which prosperity flows naturally, effortlessly, and continuously. The flow mantra. I am not chasing money, I am aligning with flow. I am not hoarding wealth, I am circulating abundance. I am not surviving, I am creating. When you live by the law of circulation, you'll realize that money was never your master, it was your mirror. It reflects your state of energy. Keep your energy open, your intentions pure, and your purpose strong, and the current of money will always find its way to you. Because in the end, wealth is not about how much you have, but how much you allow to flow through you. Chapter 7. The Strategy of the Wealthy. Wealth is not an accident. It is the outcome of strategy, a deliberate pattern of thinking, planning, and acting that multiplies value while minimizing waste. The wealthy don't stumble into riches, they design it. They play the game with awareness, precision, and patience, while the average person plays with emotion, fear, and impulse. If money is a game, then wealth is mastery. And mastery always comes from strategy. The wealthy think in systems, not sprints. The poor think in days and weeks. The middle class think in months and years. But the wealthy think in generations. They build systems, not just sources of income. They understand that financial freedom is not about working harder, but about creating structures that work without them. While others seek jobs, the wealthy seek leverage. Businesses that earn while they sleep. Investments that grow while they rest. Networks that open doors money cannot buy. To the wealthy, money is not the goal, system is. Because once the system is built, the flow becomes automatic. The wealthy use information as capital. The poor spend time gossiping. The wealthy spend time gathering data. They treat information as money, because in today's world, information is money. They read financial reports, study market patterns, analyze consumer behavior, and learn how laws and trends affect their moves. Every decision is data-driven, not emotionally driven. They understand that ignorance is expensive, that what you don't know will cost you more than what you can ever earn. So they invest heavily in knowledge, books, mentors, coaches, experiences, and networks. Because they know the return on intelligence is infinite. The wealthy play the long game. While most people chase quick wins, the wealthy master delayed gratification. They understand that true wealth requires patience, compounding, and discipline. They plant seeds today knowing some may take years to mature. They build brands, not trends. They invest in real assets, not social validation. The wealthy do not chase excitement, they chase results. This is why they can walk away from emotional decisions, because they see the long view. They understand that short-term discomfort is the price for long-term dominance. The wealthy control emotion and perception. Money flows to emotional stability. Where there is chaos, there is loss. The wealthy have mastered the art of emotional discipline. They don't make financial decisions out of fear, greed, or ego. They make them out of strategy and timing. They control their reactions when markets crash, when critics speak, when opportunities seem uncertain. Because they understand that wealth responds to calm minds, not impulsive hearts. Perception is also part of their strategy. They use branding, image, and influence to attract opportunities. They don't chase deals, deals chase them, because they've positioned themselves as valuable players in the game. To the wealthy, influence is currency. The wealthy turn problems into profits. While most people complain about problems, the wealthy look for value gaps. They ask, where is the pain, where is the need, where is the inefficiency? Because every problem is a hidden opportunity. The greater the problem you solve, the greater the wealth you attract. This is why they think differently. Where others see risk, they see reward. Where others see obstacles, they see openings. They don't run from challenges, they monetize them. The wealthy protect and multiply. Getting rich and staying rich are two different games. The wealthy are masters of preservation and multiplication. They diversify income streams, minimize liabilities, and leverage tax systems to their advantage. They protect their assets through trust structures, insurance, and legal strategies that shield them from unnecessary loss. They know when to take calculated risks, not emotional gambles. They move their money with intention. From active income to passive income. From cash flow to capital growth. From ownership to legacy. Their goal is not just to make money, it's to make money live longer than them. The wealthy think legacy, not luxury. For the average person, wealth is about spending. For the truly wealthy, it's about sustaining. They measure success not by possessions but by impact. How many lives they improve, how many systems they build, how many generations benefit from their wisdom. They understand that the highest level of wealth is freedom with purpose. The freedom to give, build, and empower, not just to consume. Their mindset is simple. Luxury fades, but legacy multiplies. The wealth strategy formula. 1. Think in systems, not jobs. 2. Use information as leverage. 3. Play the long game. 4. Control emotions, master timing. 5. Turn problems into opportunities. 6. Protect, diversify, and compound. 7. Build legacy, not vanity. Final insight. The strategy of the wealthy is not magic, it's mindset in motion. They simply think and act by design, while others live by default. The wealthy understand that every decision is a move on the board of destiny, and that money, like chess, rewards those who think 10 steps ahead. They play the game with clarity, confidence, and conviction. And that's why they always win, even when they lose. Because for them, money isn't just a resource. It's a strategy for freedom. Chapter 8. The Invisible Hand, the Social Currency of Money. Behind every fortune lies an invisible network. Behind every financial empire stands a web of influence. Money may appear to flow through banks, markets, and investments, but in reality, it flows through people. And the most powerful currency in the world is not cash, it is connection. This is the invisible hand of money, the unseen social force that moves wealth, creates opportunities, and determines who wins and who waits. The social equation of wealth. Money follows trust. It follows credibility. It follows relationship. When people like you, trust you, and believe in your ability, money begins to move toward you almost effortlessly. You no longer chase, you attract. That's why the wealthy spend more time building networks than building resumes. They understand that the social world is a living marketplace, and every relationship is a potential bridge to value. While most people focus on working in systems, the wealthy focus on connecting within circles. They know that who you know determines what you know, and ultimately, what you can grow. The hidden economy of relationships. Every social circle is an economy. Some circles trade in gossip and entertainment. Others trade in ideas, information, and influence. The wealthy deliberately place themselves in value circles, environments where conversations lead to creation and introductions lead to income. They understand that association is acceleration. Spend enough time around people who think on a higher level, and your own frequency begins to rise. Your network determines your net worth, not because of favoritism, but because of exposure. You begin to see opportunities you once overlooked and think in patterns you never knew existed. In the game of money, isolation is poverty. Connection is power. The currency of reputation. Reputation is the most expensive currency on earth. It takes years to build and seconds to destroy. In the invisible marketplace of trust, your reputation is your brand, your collateral, your unseen bank account. The wealthy guard it fiercely. They do not lie, overpromise, or manipulate, not because they are saints, but because they understand the compounding power of credibility. A solid reputation multiplies influence. Doors open faster, negotiations tilt in your favor, partnerships emerge with less resistance. People prefer to do business with those they trust, not just those who are talented. Because in the end, money flows through trust before it reaches your account. Social leverage, the power of access. Access is the modern gold mine. A single introduction can change your financial trajectory faster than 10 years of labor. One connection can open markets, funding, or opportunities that raw effort can never reach. The wealthy understand this principle deeply. They invest time in building relationships before they need them. They cultivate goodwill, offer value, and maintain strategic visibility in key circles. They don't network to take, they network to exchange energy. They ask, "What value can I add to this person's vision?" Because they know whoever adds value earns access. That's how the invisible hand works. When your energy uplifts others, their network uplifts you. The law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity is the heartbeat of the invisible economy. Whatever you give out, respect, time, opportunity, or value, eventually returns multiplied. The wealthy play this law strategically. They give first. They mentor, connect, and recommend others long before asking for anything in return. They understand that giving is not losing, it is planting. When you sow goodwill, you reap access. When you sow connection, you reap collaboration. And when you sow trust, you reap wealth. Generosity is not weakness in the game of money, it's a power move. The social mirror of money. Money reveals your social consciousness. It amplifies your ability to connect, influence, and serve. If your mindset is competitive, you'll see everyone as a threat. If your mindset is collaborative, you'll see everyone as a resource. The wealthy know that the world is not a zero-sum game. They don't rise by crushing others, they rise by creating synergy. That's the essence of social currency. It's not about how much you own, but how much value you exchange. Building your social wealth strategy. To activate the invisible hand in your life, practice these laws. 1. Be visible in value circles. Position yourself where intelligent conversations happen. Don't hide your gifts. Let people see what you can do. 2. Be valuable before being connected. Offer solutions. Share ideas. Uplift others. Value attracts visibility. 3. Protect your reputation. Let integrity be your most consistent currency. 4. Leverage goodwill. Give first, not to impress but to invest. 5. Curate your circle. Surround yourself with thinkers, builders, and believers. Energy is contagious. Final reflection. The poor chase money. The wealthy attract it through networks, trust, and influence. Money doesn't flow in isolation. It flows through connection. It moves quietly, following energy, reputation, and relationship. This is the invisible hand that shapes destinies, the silent current that moves fortunes long before numbers ever change on a screen. The more you understand how this invisible economy works, the more effortlessly money will move in your direction. Because in the end, the secret to wealth is not just what you know or what you do. It's who you are connected to and what you represent. Chapter 9. The Game of Risk and Reward. Every fortune ever made was born out of risk. Every empire that stands today was once a gamble against uncertainty. The difference between the wealthy and the average person is not luck, it's their relationship with risk. Where others see danger, the wealthy see design. Where others freeze in fear, the wealthy calculate, move, and win. Because they understand a timeless truth. There is no reward without risk. And there is no growth without courage. The psychology of risk. To the poor, risk means loss. To the wealthy, risk means leverage. The poor see risk as something to avoid. The wealthy see it as something to manage. It's not that the wealthy are fearless. They simply fear missing opportunity more than they fear making mistakes. They understand that life itself is a risk. Breathing, loving, building, investing, all require trust in the unseen. So instead of running from risk, they learn how to control it. The key is not to eliminate risk, but to educate it. Because once you understand risk, it stops being a monster and becomes a map. Risk is the price of entry. The game of money is not played by the timid. Every investment, every business, every breakthrough requires a level of uncertainty. You cannot swim in the ocean of wealth while clinging to the shore of comfort. Risk is the price of entry into the world of reward. You pay it through courage, strategy, and persistence. The reason most people never rise financially isn't because they lack opportunity. It's because they lack risk tolerance. They want success without uncertainty, progress without pressure, and growth without discomfort. But that's not how wealth works. The more you resist risk, the more you resist reward. Calculated risk versus emotional risk. The wealthy are not gamblers, they are strategists. They take calculated risks, not emotional ones. They study trends, timing, and probability. They do their homework before moving. They ask, what can I afford to lose? What will I gain if it works? What lessons will I learn if it does? The poor, however, often take emotional risks, impulsive decisions driven by fear, greed, or desperation. They act from reaction, not reflection, and that's why they lose. A calculated risk is an educated bet. An emotional risk is a blind jump. The wise play the former, the reckless suffer the latter. The comfort zone is the silent killer. Comfort is the graveyard of potential. It feels safe, but it silently kills ambition. The wealthy understand that everything they desire lies beyond comfort: new ideas, new wealth, new levels of success. They live on the edge of uncertainty because they know that's where growth happens. They are not addicted to security, they are addicted to expansion. Each risk they take stretches their mind, builds resilience, and sharpens their instincts. In the money game, comfort is more dangerous than failure. Because failure teaches, but comfort deceives. The law of asymmetric risk. There's a secret the wealthy use. They never risk everything for something small. They seek asymmetric risk, situations where the potential reward is far greater than the potential loss. They invest $1 when they can make $10. They take small, smart bets that could produce exponential results. That's why they diversify, that's why they learn, that's why they stay informed. Because knowledge turns chaos into control, and control turns risk into reward. Asymmetric thinking is the art of playing big without being reckless. It's how the wealthy keep winning even when they lose occasionally. Failure, the hidden currency of risk. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is the entry fee. You cannot win without losing something along the way. Every mistake refines your perception, strengthens your intuition, and prepares you for bigger moves. The wealthy see failure as feedback, a form of data that sharpens decision-making. The poor see it as defeat, the wealthy see it as direction. Each failure brings them closer to precision. Each setback builds the muscles of mastery. That's why they fail forward, faster, smarter, stronger. The reward of courage. The universe respects boldness. Every time you take a courageous step, unseen doors open. Money, like energy, moves toward motion. It rewards initiative. It avoids hesitation and stagnation. The wealthy move not recklessly but confidently. They understand that fortune favors those who act with clarity and conviction. Risk is not your enemy. Fear is. When you master fear, you master the flow of money. Because courage is the ultimate magnet for opportunity. Final reflection, the rule of the brave. The brave may not live forever, but the cautious never truly live. The game of money, like life itself, belongs to those who dare. Those who are willing to bet on their ideas, on their growth, and on their vision. Every step into the unknown carries two possibilities, loss or liberation. But even in loss, you gain knowledge, resilience, and wisdom, the raw materials of lasting wealth. So play the game with strategy. Take risks with intelligence. And remember, fortune doesn't reward perfection, it rewards participation. Because in the end, wealth is never found in safety. It's discovered in the calculated courage to move. Chapter 10. The Language of Money. Money speaks. It has a language, subtle, symbolic, and universal. But here's the irony. While everyone wants money, only a few have ever learned to speak its language. Most people treat money like a stranger, something to chase, fear, or serve. The wealthy treat money like a friend, something to communicate with, understand, and direct. And like any language, fluency determines power. The better you understand how money communicates, the more effortlessly it responds to you. Money does not respond to emotion. It responds to intelligence. It flows toward clarity, confidence, and competence. The broke talk about money, the rich talk with money. Money has its own grammar. In the grammar of money, spending is not the same as investing. Saving is not the same as hoarding. And earning is not the same as creating value. Those who misunderstand these words often live in confusion. They save out of fear, not purpose. They earn without vision. They spend without calculation. To them, money becomes noise, chaotic, unpredictable, and fleeting. But those who master the language know that every financial decision is a sentence in the story of their wealth. Every purchase, every investment, every act of generosity, they all communicate something to money itself. When you spend wisely, you are saying, "I understand your power." When you invest, you are saying, "I believe in multiplication." When you give strategically, you are saying, "I trust in circulation." Money listens, it always does. Vocabulary of the wealthy. The poor use emotional words around money: expensive, risky, hard, unfair. The wealthy use strategic words: value, leverage, timing, opportunity. Language frames perception. Perception shapes behavior. Behavior determines results. When you say something is too expensive, your subconscious immediately concludes that you can't afford it, and your mind stops looking for solutions. But when you ask, "How can I afford this?" your brain activates creative problem solving. The language of money is a language of possibility. Every wealthy person speaks it fluently, not because they were born rich, but because they learned to replace limitation with strategy and fear with curiosity. Numbers speak emotionlessly. Money has no feelings, only meaning. It doesn't love or hate anyone. It simply reflects your level of understanding. Numbers tell stories. They reveal truth. They don't lie, but they can be misread. Many people ignore their financial numbers, income, expenses, assets, liabilities, because numbers make them uncomfortable. They'd rather live in illusion than confront reality. But the moment you begin to listen to your numbers, you gain power. You begin to hear what money has been trying to tell you all along. Manage me well and I'll multiply. Ignore me and I'll disappear. Learning the language of money means learning to read financial patterns, not just income statements, but your own money behavior. Where your money goes tells the truth about what you truly value. Money rewards those who respect its logic. There's a divine intelligence behind money. It rewards those who play by its logic. That logic says, don't spend before you earn. Don't consume what you can invest. Don't save without purpose. Don't earn without building a system. When you align with these laws, money begins to trust you. Yes, money trusts. It flows to those who know what to do with it. The reason many people lose money as quickly as they get it is simple. They never learned its language, so money cannot stay in a home where it's misunderstood. The silent conversation. Here's the truth. Money doesn't just live in your wallet, it lives in your words. Every time you say, I'm broke, you're teaching your mind to accept poverty. Every time you say, money comes easily to me, you're programming your subconscious to attract opportunity. This isn't magic, it's neuroscience. Your words shape your expectations. Your expectations shape your attention, and your attention shapes your financial reality. So speak wealth. Think wealth. Listen to how money speaks, through patterns, opportunities, timing, and energy flow. Once you start hearing its language, you'll realize money was never silent. You just weren't listening. Closing reflection. Money is a language, a living dialogue between your mindset, your energy, and your actions. The poor argue with money, the rich negotiate with it, the wise listen to it. When you stop chasing money and start conversing with it, with respect, with intelligence, and with understanding, you unlock its secret. Money doesn't serve those who need it. It serves those who understand it. And that's how you begin to speak the language of money. Chapter 11. The Art of Financial Freedom. Freedom, the most desired word in human history. Every human pursuit, whether in love, work, or faith, is ultimately a search for freedom. Yet when it comes to money, freedom remains the most misunderstood goal of all. Most people confuse riches with freedom. They think more money automatically means more liberty. But history has proven again and again, you can be rich and still be enslaved. You can have a high income and still live in quiet desperation. Because financial freedom is not the amount of money you have, it's the relationship you have with money. The true meaning of financial freedom. Financial freedom begins when money stops being your master and becomes your servant. It's not about how much you earn, but how much control you have over your time, your choices, and your peace of mind. It's about reaching that point where your lifestyle is sustained by systems, not struggle, by income that flows whether you're awake or asleep. Financial freedom is not about luxury, it's about leverage. It's about building a structure that allows you to do what you love, without the constant anxiety of survival. The truly free person is not the one who buys everything they want. It's the one who doesn't need to buy everything to feel fulfilled. The trap of golden handcuffs. One of the greatest illusions in the money game is what I call the golden handcuff. It's the illusion of wealth without true liberty. You see it everywhere: people with high-paying jobs, expensive cars, and luxurious lifestyles, yet they are chained to debt, deadlines, and dissatisfaction. They look successful, but they cannot stop working. If they do, everything collapses. That's not freedom. That's financial imprisonment with polished walls. True wealth is measured in options. When you can say no to what doesn't align with your purpose, that's freedom. When your money works for you instead of you working for money, that's freedom. When your time is your own, that's mastery. The 4 pillars of financial freedom. There are 4 key pillars that hold the structure of financial freedom together. 1. Mindset, the foundation. You cannot become free with a scarcity mentality. You must replace fear with understanding anxiety with confidence, and greed with purpose. A wealthy mindset sees money as a tool, not a trophy. 2. Systems, the structure. Freedom doesn't come from effort alone, it comes from systems. Systems that create passive income, assets, investments, royalties, businesses, and digital structures that generate income even in your absence. 3. Discipline, the guard. Without discipline, even wealth becomes temporary. Freedom demands restraint, the ability to delay gratification, manage impulses, and reinvest profits intelligently. 4. Purpose, the compass. Money without meaning becomes emptiness with a price tag. Financial freedom must serve a higher purpose: your calling, your family, your legacy, your contribution to humanity. The psychology of enough. The word enough is the cornerstone of true freedom. The modern world teaches you to want more money, more things, more status. But the endless chase creates inner poverty. Freedom begins when you define what enough means for you. Ask yourself, how much do I really need to live the life I desire? What experiences truly fulfill me? What am I willing to trade my time and peace for, and what am I not? When you understand you're enough, you stop competing and start living. You make decisions based on alignment, not approval. And paradoxically, when you stop chasing more, you attract more because your energy shifts from desperation to direction. Designing your financial freedom blueprint. To practice the art of financial freedom, you must design your life around 3 principles. 1. Automate income, build streams of passive income. Investments, rental properties, dividend stocks, digital content, or business systems. If your income depends solely on your physical presence, you're one illness or layoff away from disaster. 2. Simplify lifestyle. Don't expand expenses as income rises. Freedom comes faster when your lifestyle remains intentionally simple. Every unnecessary expense is a chain you willingly wear. 3. Multiply time, use leverage. Delegate, automate, and collaborate. Every hour you reclaim multiplies your creative and financial capacity. Financial freedom is not won by hustling harder. It's achieved by designing smarter. Freedom beyond money. Ironically, once you achieve true financial freedom, money ceases to be the central pursuit. It becomes background music, present, supportive, but no longer dominant. You begin to measure wealth in time, peace, health, love, and purpose. You start to give more, build more, and dream more. Because when you no longer live for survival, you start living for significance. That's when the game of money transforms from a battle to a dance, from struggle to rhythm, from survival to stewardship. Closing thoughts. Financial freedom is an art, not an accident. It's crafted through mindset, structure, and self-mastery. It's the point where you no longer ask, how much can I earn? But rather, how much impact can I make? Remember this truth. You are not here to serve money. Money is here to serve your freedom, your growth, your peace, and your legacy. When you understand that, you win not just the game of money. You win the game of life.